They took my kidney and the man I loved used it to replace me. That's how my marriage ended. Not with a divorce, not with a fight, but with a scalpel. My name is Laura. And I gave my body to save his mother so he could give his heart to another woman. I remember the smell of antiseptic. Cold, sharp, like something was about to die. They rolled me into the operating room and I kept asking the same stupid question. Is she going to be okay? Not me, not my future, not my life, his mother, Dorothy. Because that's what I had become in that family, a spare part. Paul was standing there in his expensive suit holding my hand like a hero. My mom owes you everything, he said. You're saving her life. I believed him. God help me, I believed him. Because when you love someone, you don't think they're calculating your worth in organs. You think they're grateful. I signed the consent form with shaking hands. One kidney, one chance, one promise that I would finally be accepted. By his family, by his mother, by him. I thought when I woke up everything would be different. I thought I would be loved. I woke up in pain, the kind that lives inside you. The kind you don't scream, you just quietly disappear into. There was a bandage on my side, a dull, burning ache that made every breath feel borrowed. A nurse smiled at me. Congratulations, she said. The surgery was successful. I smiled back. I thought she meant me, but she didn't. She meant Dorothy. Paul wasn't there, not when I woke up, not when I asked for him, not when I cried. Hours passed. Then finally he came in, and he didn't look relieved. He looked annoyed, like someone who had just finished a long, inconvenient meeting. How's my mom? I whispered. That was my first question after losing an organ. Not did I survive, not will I be okay, just her. Paul nodded. She's stable. I waited for him to thank me. He didn't. He checked his phone. That was the moment I should have known. Because people who love you don't look at their phones while you're bleeding for their family. I asked him to sit with me. He said he had to go. I'll come back later, he promised. He didn't. That night I lay there alone, staring at the ceiling, feeling something worse than pain. I felt replaced, because even before I knew about her, I felt her. Somewhere, waiting. 2 days later I saw them, not in person, on his phone. Paul left it on the chair while he went to get coffee. It buzzed. I wasn't snooping, I was lonely. The message was short. Did it work? Is she finally out of the way? It was from Vanessa, the woman in the red dress. The woman who would soon be wearing my life. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped the phone. I scrolled. I saw pictures. Laughing, wine, hotel rooms. While I was bleeding into a hospital bed, my husband was planning a future with someone else. Using the time I was in surgery, using the body I had just sacrificed. When Paul came back, I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just asked one question. Who is Vanessa? He froze, not because he was sorry, because he was caught. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't his wife. I was his donor. He didn't even deny it. She's important to me, he said. Important. That was the word he used. Not I love her. Not I made a mistake. Just important, like a business deal, like an upgrade, like me but better. I asked him if he planned to tell me. He shrugged. You would have made it complicated? I had just given him a kidney, and he called me complicated. That's when I understood. I didn't survive surgery, I survived betrayal, and it was worse. But here's the thing about people like Paul, they think once you're weak, you're finished. They think hospital beds mean helpless. They think pain makes you small. They never imagine it makes you dangerous. Because while Paul thought I was broken, a doctor was about to walk into my room and tell me something that would change everything. The doctor didn't knock. He walked in like he was about to ruin someone's life. Paul was still standing at the foot of my bed, calm, straightening his cuff like this was a business meeting. Vanessa stood beside him in her red dress, the one he chose over me, her hand resting over her stomach like she already owned the future. I was weak, stitched together, still dizzy from losing a part of myself. The doctor looked at me. Laura, we need to talk about your transplant. Paul sighed. She's tired, say what you need to say. The doctor turned to him. Your mother's surgery was canceled. Silence. What? Paul snapped. The kidney Laura donated, he continued, was not used on Dorothy Bennett. Vanessa's fingers curled. Paul's face tightened. Then who got it? Richard Hale. The name hit him like a slap. That's not possible, he said. That kidney was ours. The doctor shook his head. The paperwork changed. I felt something move inside me, not relief, not anger, something colder, something powerful. Paul turned to me slowly. What did you do? I didn't do anything, I said quietly. You did. The doctor's phone rang. He stepped aside, listened, then handed it to me. Mr. Hale wants to speak with you. I brought it to my ear. Laura, a calm voice said, you don't know me, but I know your husband. My heart was pounding. You just made Paul Bennett very vulnerable. I swallowed. How? He tried to play games with something that didn't belong to him. I don't like that. Paul was staring at me now, eyes sharp. Who is that? He demanded. I didn't answer him. I'm sending a car, the man said. And my legal people, you should not be alone right now. I looked at Paul, at Vanessa, at the woman wearing my ring and carrying his child. I'm ready, I whispered. When I hung up, Paul forced a laugh. You think this changes anything? I met his eyes. I think, I said, you just lost control of the story. Paul didn't realize that from this moment on, every lie he ever told was about to be used against him. I didn't call Paul, I wanted him scared when he called. The car Richard Hale sent took me out of the hospital through a private elevator. No reporters, no nurses. Just quiet glass walls and the soft hum of something expensive moving fast. For the first time since I woke up without a kidney, nobody touched me without permission. I sat alone in the back seat watching my reflection slide across the dark window. I looked hollow, but there was something else there now too. Stillness. That's when my phone rang. Paul, I let it ring 3 times. Where is it? He demanded. No hello, no concern. Where is the money? That's why you're calling, I said, not to ask if I'm alive. I don't have time for this, Laura. Where is it? Men like Paul always think money makes them immortal. I don't have it, I said. What do you mean you don't have it? I mean you signed it away. Silence. You're lying. I'm sending you something, I said, an investment contract. One that puts everything you own under my control. He laughed, nervous, sharp. You can't do that. Open your email. I heard the sound of him scrolling. This is standard, he said. I've seen contracts like this before. I know, I need this capital, he muttered. The banks already froze you, I said. I'm the only door that's still open. His breathing changed. If I don't take this, he whispered, everything collapses. I watched the city blur past the window. Then sign it. Paul hesitated just for a moment. Then I heard the sound that changed everything. The signature. When the call ended, I didn't feel excited. I felt still, like the moment after lightning strikes when the air hasn't realized yet what just happened. Paul thought he had just saved himself. He didn't know he had just signed the contract that would let me take everything he was hiding. Silence is never peace. It's the moment right before something breaks. Paul called me so many times my phone stopped vibrating and just went quiet. I was inside Richard Hale's building, staring at a screen filled with red warnings. Frozen accounts, seized properties, compliance reviews, regulatory flags. Richard stood beside me. He tried to move money offshore, he said. That triggered audits. Now banks are opening every account he ever touched. I swallowed. What happens next? Everything he ever hid gets found. I didn't realize how much that mattered until I saw Paul again. He was at the hospital, not calm, not charming, wild. Vanessa was there crying, holding her phone. They're calling me, she said. News outlets, financial reporters. Paul, what did you do? Paul saw me and rushed over. You have to stop this, he hissed. Do you know what will happen if they hear those recordings? Your mother, I asked quietly. Your unborn child? His eyes flickered. I'll make a deal, he said. Money, property, I'll give you anything. I took out my phone. I recorded everything, I said, every lie, every deal. Every time you talked about selling my kidney. Vanessa stared at him. You told me she volunteered. She didn't, I said. He sold me. Vanessa backed away like he was poison. Dorothy sobbed in her bed. Paul grabbed my arm. If you release those, I will destroy you, he whispered. I know people. I pulled away. So did I. Later that night, I stood by a tall window overlooking the city. Paul called one last time. Please, he said. If those recordings go public, my mother will hear them. My child will hear them. I closed my eyes. You should have thought about that before you used my body to build your life. I hung up. Paul thought losing his money was the end. He didn't know the truth was about to reach everyone who ever loved him, and once it did, there would be no way back. The truth doesn't knock, it breaks the door down. I didn't release the recordings quietly. Richard Hale's legal team sent them to every place Paul was afraid of. financial regulators, major newsrooms, hospital ethics boards. And one private email address Paul never thought I would touch, Vanessa's. By morning, his face was everywhere, not the polished CEO version, the real one. Headlines filled the screens inside Richard's building. CEO accused of organ trafficking scheme recordings reveal husband sold wife's kidney. Federal investigators launch criminal probe. I watched the words scroll past like they belonged to someone else's life. But they didn't. They belonged to the man who took my body and tried to trade it for a new one. Paul called me. This time he wasn't angry, he was empty. My lawyers won't even talk to me, he said. Vanessa left, she took her things. She won't answer. I didn't speak. My mother heard it, he whispered. She knows. I closed my eyes. She keeps asking me how I could do this to you. For the first time, he sounded small. They're coming for me, he said. Police. Federal agents, everyone. I thought about the hospital bed, the pain, the scar I would carry for the rest of my life. I told you, I said, you should have thought about that. The line went dead. I went back to the hospital that afternoon. Dorothy was awake. She looked older than she had before, like the truth had aged her. I'm so sorry, she said. I raised him, I made him. I took her hand. I know, she closed her eyes. They're investigating him now. Yes, I said, and you? I'm healing. She nodded. That's more than he deserves. Vanessa messaged me that night, 3 words, you were right, that was all I needed. Weeks later, Paul was officially charged. Fraud, conspiracy, human organ trafficking. The news called it one of the most shocking corporate scandals of the decade. I called it justice. I stood in my apartment, sunlight spilling across the floor, and placed my hand over the scar on my side. It still hurt, but it no longer owned me. Paul thought he could take my body and rewrite his future. He was wrong. I took back my life and I took his lies with me.